All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 12th episode of the Trainers Lounge, the show where we talk about anything and everything about LND. Ayan, so ang bilis ng panahon. We're already on our 12th episodes, and I am really excited with our topic for today. It's all about the ins and outs of managing a learning and development team. Ayan. But before we go forward with our show, don't forget to like, of course, and share our videos here at Trainers Lounge. You can all check our previous episodes in our Facebook page, and also they're uploaded in our YouTube page. Just go to Facebook or YouTube and search for Circle Logical Group. All right. Well, without further ado, let's introduce our guest for today's episode. He is an HR practitioner for more than 8 years, and he has honed and developed competencies to various developmental and transformational areas of the human resources function. It includes learning, organizational development, project management, communications, and compliance. He has also experience in setting up HR systems in Dongguan, China, and Vietnam for one of his current work's business units. Among his certifications are Certified Practitioner in Human Resources, Certified Learning and Development Professional. He's also a psychological test administrator and profiler, level A and B. And also, he has finished his Dale Carnegie course and also a basic occupational safety and health officer. Ayan. Well, training an OD assistant at Trust International Paper Corporation is the first step in his career. And from there, he started as an L&D officer, then moved on into as an assistant manager of the HR division in his new company, and moved up again as the HR operation manager, and currently as the HR senior manager at Luen Thai. Ayan, ladies and gentlemen, let's all welcome Mr. Von Angeli David, CLDP. Ayan, let's see if he's here na.
Hello,
Good
good afternoon.
afternoon! Ayun, hello po Sir Von. Kamusta po kayo? How are you this afternoon?
Okay naman, rainy afternoon to everyone.
Oo nga, maulan, maulan, malamig. Pero ganun pa man, we're looking forward to this episode of ours and hopefully to share some insights and, tips and tricks to our viewers in this beautiful industry. All right. So, sir, before moving forward, no, kamusta naman po yung mga adjustments natin with this pandemic?
Well, particularly for the industry that I belong to, we're in
Mm-hmm.
apparel manufacturing. We're quite hit, but by
Mm,
the start of 2021 naman, slowly catching up na ulit, bumabalik na ulit yung
ayun.
mga orders. So hopefully the year ends in a good note, better than last year.
That's good to hear. All right. Well, yeah, I always say this in the show that lahat naman tayo naapektuhan with the pandemic. And today we're actually going to talk about an L&D team, and maybe you can give us an insights on how your team was able to, get out of this or at least survive in this difficult times. All right. Well, first up, without further ado, let's get on to our first question. Well, we are going to talk about the ins and outs of managing an L&D team. But first, of course, we need to understand what should comprise, ayun, ano ba dapat, what should comprise a learning and development team.
Okay, that's actually a good starter question. No? Primarily
Mhm.
because, well, we wish we can form our own team na agad-agad, but
Oo.
that's out
Oh,
of
kaya
my
na lahat.
yes, nandiyan na lahat na ready to fight na. So let me just make it like a wish list or at least a guide for
Mm,
those who are currently handling L&D on how we can further shape up yung team natin. First on the list siguro, we need someone from the group na mahilig sa research. Having
okay.
that knack for research is very important, primarily because core to the L&D function is materials development. We cannot know all, but with proper research, proper collaboration with, say, business partners, clients, you'll be able to come up with a good and relevant module. So, and not everyone have that passion for research. Eh. So, if you have one, that's
Mm.
already, I would say, a plus factor.
Ah. I see. A researcher, parang tagahanap ng new ways or
Yes.
actually research on its own, ika nga.
Mm.
Well, how about the other aspects naman? Like, so, okay, so we
Um,
have the researcher.
yeah,
What else
research.
are we looking? Mm-hmm.
Lately, particularly because the pandemic has made everything else very visual and interactive, you need someone who's adept with graphics.
Ah,
Pasensya na pero parang hindi na okay lang na you're just a PowerPoint person. You should be
true,
able to
true.
be very creative talaga.
Mm-hmm.
Even the art of choosing the correct font would now matter kasi everything
Oh,
else is visual eh.
yeah,
So,
yeah, that's true. They actually teach that. And I remember when I was in school pa, dati nung elementary, uso pa Manila paper.
mm,
And parang nung ako na yung nagturo towards my college years or nung gumraduate ako as a fresh grad, parang yung PowerPoint na yun nagiging Manila paper natin. That
yes.
everyone is expected to know them. And now, with another emergence of new technologies, parang kailangan ng mag-adapt din on how to, level up their skills in terms of PowerPoint. Pero hindi lang actually PowerPoint eh. Even other graphic materials or media materials as they call them.
Yes. Ngayon parang knowledge on Photoshop and yung CapCut
Mhm.
is basic na lang.
Oo.
Where in fact, yung others kinakareer just to find out, di ba?
Mm.
Just to share also, no, I was actually, I think one of my ticket in joining my first company in Tipco is only because I knew Photoshop when everyone else is not as okay with Photoshop. Kasi naging useful siya kasi you need to design posters, yung invite na sinesend sa
Oo, hindi
email.
ba? Mga brochures.
Yes, so it became very handy. So if you have one in your L&D team, I think it's another plus factor kasi you would have
Mhm.
already an artist, kumbaga yung ang focus niya is to just really make sure that every visuals is okay and ready. Third, and I think yung last no na importante na if you can form your team, you would definitely need someone na may platform skills. And unfortunately, for learning and development, kailangan talaga ng tao na may command sa language. Someone who can talk to people across levels of the organization, someone who can face regardless yung number of people. Kailangan kasi yun eh. Unfortunately, puwede ba yung mahiyain sa L&D? Yes, but if lahat kayo mahiyain sa L&D, it would be a challenge. Kasi siyempre, someone needs to be the face. Someone needs to stand and do the orientation. Someone needs to stand and talk to the supervisors. And on some instances, even talk to managers and executives. So sana yung platform skills kayang mag-transcend across levels ng organization.
Well, yeah, actually, it is expected for L&D professionals or practitioners to have a good command of the language, no? If hindi man yung buong aspect niya, at least you can present yourself or you can communicate well. Actually, that's one of the key features na kailangan, not just for the team, but also for yourself as a professional. Ayan.
So,
Would there be anything else comprising a learning and development team?
siguro ano lang, like, siguro parang disclaimer lang na, so paano
Mhm.
yun? Pag nahiyain ka ba, does that mean you don't have a place in
Uh,
L&D? I would say no because as we mentioned earlier, you may be silent, then you may be contributing dun sa research, yung back-end
mhm.
side ng learning and development. You can be the like marketing person ng group who's very silent but is very loud in social media, who can really sell and pitch a material or a particular learning opportunity. So, pwede pa rin naman. It's just that siguro kailangan may isa man lang na kaya na humarap.
Humarap. I see. Will that be your dream team? Yan.
Uh, I'm lucky because this is what I currently have. So, very thankful
Wow, ayun
ako
naman
because
pala.
yes, I have the group. So, with this group, I know that, alam mo yun, we can take in. Sige, give us a challenge and mukhang kakayanin naman namin. Parang ganun.
Ayun. Wow, that's nice to hear naman. And if you don't mind me asking, alin ka doon or what would you like to be in those
Ah,
well, team members, ika nga.
Sige, biglang napatingin ako sa mga naka-tune in, baka nandito yung mga dati kong boss. Hindi, okay lang.
And
Um,
I mean, like, if you were to
yeah.
be a member, which one is your preference? Parang, would you rather be a researcher? If you're not the manager, ika nga, would you like to be the one on the background, or are you the one nasa front lines?
Yeah. For some reason, my heart is with research talaga. Meaning, I love researching, I love
Research.
building the material. But
Mm-hmm.
currently, for some reason, I find it extra fulfilling when I face the people. Primarily kasi
Ayun.
I also learn much of my maturity in the practice of human resources were built because of the many people that were my guests in my training room, kumbaga, in the past.
Mm-hmm. And when we speak of L&D team, is there like a written parang written rule na dapat ito yung mga members, or it's something that's more on the loose side na pwedeng maging researcher as and at the same time marketing or front end siya? Meron ba
Um,
nakasulat or nakasaad sa bato yung tinatawag nila na dapat masunod by the
yeah.
dot, or hindi naman?
Hindi naman, only because I think I will not also be here if someone else had that rule book,
Oo,
and
no, no,
would
di
do it
ba?
na. But what's good to highlight also is the young people now, more often than not, have two or three of these competencies ready.
Already, oh, no,
Say
yung
for
hawak
example,
na, ay, oo, hawak na nila
yeah,
yung skills.
yes. Say for example, yung graphics, sabi ko nga, almost everyone is very much into, kaya nilang mag-video editing for some reason eh. Na ako honestly with my generation, hindi lahat din kaya. But sila parang automatic sa TikTok siguro. Hindi ko alam.
Well,
Maybe
yeah,
because of that.
editing tools have been fairly accessible for everyone. Parang, I think nung panahon ko pa din, actually, medyo mahirap pa sila. Like, you have to really go into the uh, parang in-depth command of the software. Ngayon, parang in a click of a button, parang, or kiklik mo lang yung screen mo, it will edit out for you.
Yeah,
Diba?
yeah.
Yung procedure na kailangan. But anyways, yeah, the younger generations have more access to more skills and information, I guess. That's
Mhm.
why they're starting to show this skill sets early on in their lives.
Yes.
All right. Well, you mentioned the fresh graduate. Actually, the next question is leading towards that. Uh, para naman sa mga fresh graduate, then they would think na, kapag team yan, it means all of them are already tenured in some way. No? Na hindi ka mabibilang sa isang team kung hindi ka tenured or you haven't proven yourself yet. So, for fresh graduate students, is there a space for them in an L&D team?
I would say definitely. I'm not sure if yung two companies that I've been with, nagkataon lang talaga na very welcoming sila. Like I mentioned, in my first job, I was taken in fresh from the university as part of the L&D group. San ba yung saan ba yung advantage ng isang fresh grad?
Mhm.
I think it's coming from yung every fresh blood that joins the system of an organization would give an opportunity for the organization to also refresh what they know, what they can do, the approach that they have in learning and development. Young people from the university usually brings with them yung latest updates on technology. The younger people also can readily relate to them. So, minsan kahit you do your research, mahirap pa rin talaga mag-touch base sa younger generation. So, say for example, you are part of a BPO na I would think based from stories from my friends who are very aggressive to take in young people, yung
Oh.
program mo can be readily enticing and interesting kasi alam nila kung what's interesting also sa mga ka-edad nila. Um, and key sa learning and development is always be relevant eh. So parang
Oh,
ano
yeah,
yan,
yeah.
automatic na yan. At least these new people can make your program very relevant.
I think,
Um,
yeah, that's I sorry.
go.
May I? Sorry. Well, yeah, I think that's a lovely way to look at it kasi minsan natatakot ang mga management or higher ups na to acquire new graduates because of their lack of experience. But rather, I think in their own way, they have their own set of experience kasi they're living in the now,
Mhm.
'di ba? Alam nila yung trending, alam nila yung tinatawag na viral. So I think they are a good way for us to for us to connect with the current generation or the current trend, and hindi na tayo mahihirapan to research na ano ba yung uso ngayon, ano ba kailangan nating gawin para maging in tayo, because they already are in that well, timeline, ika nga. Yun.
Yes.
Well, anything to add also for those na gustong sumali, what or fresh graduates na gusto sumali sa isang L&D team?
Okay. I wish I can know what they're doing now, but I think key for them is to be brave to like try and apply. Kasi usually
Mhm,
iniiwasan
mhm.
yung L&D ng mga fresh grads eh. Kasi yun nga, it's that mindset of, oh, I need to be bringing in already something before I can join
Something.
the group. One is be brave. Second is try to look into competencies that are expected of a learning and development person. And if you can in the university, try to build them. Ako, again, I can just relate it with my experience, no? Sinadya ko yun
Mhm,
eh,
mhm.
sinadya kong aralin yung Photoshop because I know not many of my batchmates know it. And since naka-focus talaga ako to join human resources, I
Yeah.
really planned and talagang ito yung parang ano ko, alas ko when I go and find a job. So and then if you really want to join the L&D group, then start building your platform skills. Um,
Oo.
Important yun. Grow your vocabulary, practice, watch movies, and try to join uh, groups also in even in social media that do online exchanges of ano parang may mga merong ganun eh yung mga evening speeches na pwedeng mag-join ka so that you can practice your platform skills also. So, kumbaga, build your
Ayun.
confidence.
Oo, siguro nga, siguro nga. If you may not have all the things needed for an L&D, at least work on one thing na magiging alas mo, ika, or your ace up your sleeve. All right, that's actually a good way to look into it nga naman. Hindi naman lahat magiging expert at the beginning eh. Diba?
Yes.
I don't think anyone has started as an expert in any industry whatsoever. But yeah, that is a good way to look into it. Develop something that you can offer to the team.
Yes. So
Now,
a call lang
mm,
for fellow HR practitioners then no, let's not
ay, ayun,
discriminate.
sige.
Let's not discriminate the fresh grads po. You will find gems definitely sa mga fresh grads. Sure ako doon.
Ayun.
Tsatsagain mo lang talaga but you will
Mhm.
find gems definitely.
Ayan. Well, actually, that is a good question to ask sa ating mga viewers. Though. Sa mga viewers po natin right now, whether you're in the L&D or HR as a whole, did you start off as a fresh grad or meron muna kayong ginawa bago kayo nakapasok sa ating industry? So comment down below and maybe we can check some inspirational story. Baka may MMK moment tayong makita dyan. All right. Well, earlier on, while you were talking about the fresh graduates joining in the industry, you mentioned competencies. And now, in your opinion, or how would you describe the competencies needed for, or that are key in to becoming an L&D member, or yeah, in belonging in an L&D team?
Okay, thank you. Well, there are quite some obvious competencies. Earlier kanina, you mentioned na parang pinaka-basic natin is the platform skills, can communicate, sana magaling din magsulat, di ba? Has command of the English language. But ang gusto kong i-highlight siguro, I have here about three in my list that are not as common, but I think would be useful to those who are currently managing a group or intend to manage a group of learning and development na hindi usual. So first is marketing acumen. So hindi ko alam kung narinig nyo na yan before, pero parang, marketing and
Marketing.
L&D, paano sila mag-marry, no? This becomes useful because as part of learning and development, we should be able to sell literally our program, especially if you're already in that level that management trusts you to come up with programs that would help shape, say, culture ng company, pagkakaroon kayo ng change management where you need to implement a drastic turnaround of say efficiency or even soft skills behavior of people, you should be able to have that skill to sell your program to management first. Kasi syempre we need to be realistic also. L&D will be able to function to its fullest if funded yung program. So, kung meron kang marketing acumen, you know yung kilite ng top management and be able to convince them why a particular program is very important for the business and for the people, then that could be an advantage. Another is knowing your client would help you tailor fit better your modules or your programs to something that these people would want to attend. Ang least na gusto nating mangyari is yung na-approve, finund, tapos yung attendance mababa kasi parang, hala, para saan yan, 'di ba? I remember nung part ng case studies sa CLDP certification, no, merong isang company na yung mga tao gumagawa na ng iba't ibang excuse not to attend team
Oo.
building activity. So, paano yan? Dinala nyo sila sa resort, tapos yung iba nag-excuse ng kung ano-ano, di ba? Para not to join. So, that's why inuna ko siya sa list, having a proper, like, marketing mindset or like you wear your
Oo.
marketer's hat would give an advantage sa isang L&D manager or L&D team
Team.
na ma-sell properly yung idea nila. Yeah. Minsan kasi ang
Okay.
ganda ng idea tapos hindi mo ma-sell. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I think so that aside from marketing, siguro parang public relation skills. Kaya
Mm-mm.
nga, na you have to be able to talk outside of the training itself, of the training comforts itself. I remember one time na may natanong sa akin, uh, ako pa ba yung magsasabi sa mga participants na kailangan silang mag-training? Trabaho ko pa ba yun? Parang ganun. I just forgot where it was mentioned. Pero yeah, and then yeah, it clicked to me na oo nga, it's actually part of our job. And how to do that, no, na hindi lang basta-basta. Well, what if your company is quite big, di ba? How will you communicate with others? Doon pumapasok yung marketing strategies. Doon pumapasok yung PR skills natin. Besides doon sa teaching skills natin or doon sa management skills natin. Ayan. What other competencies pa ang nakikita or kailangan natin as a
Um,
member?
Yeah, another in my list is I call it organizational awareness.
Mm-hmm.
This becomes relevant also because I was lucky with my current organization na ang setup ng HR has always been a service provider. So you can only provide service if you're aligned with the organization. You know
Mm-hmm.
where the organization wants to go. Sakto ngayon September, no? Usually budget season 'yan. So alam mo 'yan
Kailangan
yung
pa.
yes, I
Pahirapan
trust
na
them.
sa pagpo-proposal.
Please give me, 'di ba? Pero
Oo, yun, yun, yun.
yes, parang hihingi ka ng budget for a program na hindi naka-align sa, say for example, 2022, 2023 outlook ng business. I mean, dun pa
Mm.
lang defeated na, 'di ba? Um, Puwedeng nanggaling ka sa isang magandang-magandang training and you want to bring it to the organization, pero you will bring it as in photocopy type diretso when in fact ang industry mo are, say for example lang, ang industry mo are all accountants na hindi ganun ka comfortable speaking out, sample lang,
Mhm, mhm.
versus yung kanina na inatenan mong buong buo kayo na say puro psych kayo na lahat willing to alam mo yun, up and going to be participating. So if you are aware of your organization, you can tailor fit your approach well. When you do your TNA, when you do your training needs analysis and assessment, you can really make sure that this is speaking the language of the
Ah,
organization also. Very important yun eh. Otherwise, it's just another canned program, tinry, hit and miss. Swerte mo kung hit, di ba? Paano pag
oo,
miss?
yeah, yeah.
Sayang.
And yeah, it's not 100% na all of your ideas will fly. Ika nga. There will be things that need that need to be looked into, especially sa standing organization ninyo or ng company ninyo. And I think one of the things to avoid din siguro yung being shut down is understand talaga the company itself, na hindi ka lang nagfo-focus sa objectives mo na ay hindi dapat matuto tong candidates ko ng ganito ng ganyan, but also ako yung my style was to look into the vision and mission of the company, right? Kasi dun you can check all the things that you have to understand about the company, where it wants to go. So as developer siguro ng mga learnings ng projects or in the programs in the future, that is a good way to start, or that's a good way to look into first. Ayan.
Yep. Anchor ka dapat.
Anchor nga
Anchor.
yun. So we have marketing skills and also organizational. How is there anything else that you would like to add?
Ang last ko siguro is yung tandem ng creativity and innovation.
Oh.
I when I was checking your trainer's lounge profile, I saw yung pinakamataas na views was I forgot the name, very sorry, but there's this lady who talked about creativity, putting
Ah, yes,
creativity.
Miss Elaine.
Yes, learning and development, no? So it dawned to me how important it is sa L&D. Kasi there's so many options na. Earlier this morning, I was talking to our corporate L&D senior manager also. And I was asking her kasi meron siyang nakita na parang app or system that can help track kung nasan na sa PowerPoint yung mga online learners mo. So you can know
Oh.
kung saan na binabasa ba nila or pag binabasa ba
Oo.
nila, click lang. May ganyan na.
Nababantayan mo na.
Yes. So, well, it dawned to me talaga na there's so much available technology out there. And for L&D people to have that sensitivity and interest siguro to this is now becoming very important. Zoom nga lang. Kanina nag-uusap tayo, sir, di ba, about
Oo.
this StreamYard, no? And
Yung mga
how
bagong systems dyan.
yes, and I think this can help us moving forward with or without the pandemic kasi it already opened so much opportunities for everyone na ma-reach ng mga tao. Kasi 'di ba not everyone also are comfortable face to face naman. Yun yung traditional natin. Sige, dali natin sila sa training room or one-on-one, hindi pa rin lahat comfortable doon eh. So this
Mhm.
online opportunity opened another niche, so to speak, no? Doon sa mga
Oo.
iba namang tao na ang comfort ay ganito, yung control sa time, etc.
Yeah, there's a lot of emerging new softwares or systems na makakatulong sa atin eh. Isa na dyan yung gamification, di ba nga? A lot of things. And putting aside those innovations, hindi mo rin sila magagamit kasi kung wala kang sense of creativity and yun nga, pagiging innovator. Kasi okay, you have the tools, but can you use them? Can you use them in a way that it's your own flavor? So yeah, I think I agree with that na besides the technical skills, you need to have this soft skills in terms of creativity and yung pagiging not necessarily laging original, but innovation. Ika nga. Ayan. Well, those are the three competencies and I think nagkaka-idea na yung mga viewers natin on what they need to prepare for themselves if they want to become L&D team or members ng isang L&D team. Ayan. Now, pag-usapan naman natin yung mga nasa HR na but not necessarily nasa L&D. Ayan.
Okay.
Sa L&D, yes, it's HR, pero minsan may sarili tayong mundo eh, no? Parang HR kami, pero meron kami sariling team, parang ganun. But yeah, for those who are in other facets of HR, na interested or who are interested into joining this industry, what should they do? Or ano ba yung kailangan nilang umpisahan para mapunta towards sa L&D industry?
Okay. Madaming ways, but I think if you're already within the organization, HR ka or even other departments, and you're interested in joining the learning and development team, isang avenue or route that you can take is to be what you call a subject matter expert. This means wherever you are in the organization, make sure that you build your capability and start volunteering to be the teacher or like the SME nung area na yon. Start with mini sessions that can help you practice yung
Mhm.
mga competencies na nabanggit natin kanina about HR. Talk
Mhm.
about process, techniques, systems that you are an expert. Kasi minsan tatalunin mo pa yung nasa L&D kasi ikaw yun eh. Like for example, if you're a very seasoned warehouse supervisor,
Oo, yeah.
you're best to talk and be in front of a class teaching about logistics than a seasoned warehouse personnel, di ba? So, yun po pwede ka doon. Kung nasa HR ka naman and bihasang-bihasa ka sa compensation and benefits, then start with that. Ang nakikita kong pinakauna mong ticket is take the orientation part ng compensation and benefit. Pag nag-orient ng mga new hires,
Oo, naman yung hires.
volunteer ka doon. Volunteer ka. Sabihin mo, gawin niyo akong resource. Ilang ilang oras lang yun, pero that can give you already yung opportunity to practice and at the same time show to the L&D team na potential ka. I'm not sure if I'm speaking for all L&D people, no, pero wala nang mas masaya pa sa organization kung hindi yung makita mong may iba pang pwedeng mag-conduct ng session. Kasi the more that you can multiply yourself, the more you can complete. Say, meron kayong goal to cover many
Mm.
people, the better, di ba?
Mhm.
Maswerte rin ako, if I may share, no, sa organization
Sure.
ko ngayon kasi um, nagkaroon na kami ng maraming L&D members na nandito pa ngayon, yung iba naman nag-move up na to higher positions na hindi sila HR. I had before a training officer na industrial engineer. Meron
Okay, wow.
akong meron akong paralegal na naging training and development person.
Mhm.
Nagkaroon din ako ng person na ang expertise talaga niya is IT. So, gano'n kalawak yung opportunity, but all these three people started by being subject matter experts. Meron kaming lately lang na-discover na talent, nasa compensation and benefits siya. Tapos natuklasan namin na he has knack for graphics. Graphic artist namin siya ngayon. While hindi siya solo talaga sa learning and development, pero ang humahawak sa kanya ngayon would be my L&D head. So, yun yung naging ticket niya to join. Tapos nalaman namin lately mukhang kaya pala niyang mag-orient-orient. So, nasisimulan siguro.
Binigay na yung opportunity sa kanya, ika nga.
Yes.
Alright, I see. Wow. So, become an SME, present something that you know already, ika nga, para at least
Mhm.
mabilis lang siya i-deliver. Uh, what else? Is there other tricks ba to get into L&D besides being an SME?
Um, I think for any organization, yun yung pinakamabilis na opportunity.
Mhm.
Another route na pwede mong i-take siguro if you want is to kung may program yung company ninyo ng mga train the trainers,
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
volunteer. Volunteer ka kasi minsan may
Volunteer.
mga ganong parang I call it regular menu eh. Yung every year meron. Tapos
Ah,
you wish na sana may mag-join tapos pag may nag-join, sige tignan mo kung sa 10 may magfo-fly. So you can also do that. Um, And then, ano lang 'to, technique lang siguro. Minsan sabihan mo yung boss mo na, "Oh, nagte-take po ako ng personal courses, ha." I'm not sure if it will work sa group, but, yeah, so yun, nagte-take ako ng personal course because I want to eventually, like, develop and be a trainer sa group natin. Parang gano'n.
I see. All right. Well, yeah, those are two actually good ways of joining this industry. But at the same time, siguro, isa din is lakas ng loob. Let's
Yeah.
add lakas ng loob dyan. Parang be confident. Be confident in this industry na papasukin mo because it is a people-centered industry. You will meet a lot of people, different walks of life, whether you're a trainer or a researcher or doing it in the back end. But yeah, confidence also is one of the things na kailangan mong i-build up
Mm.
if you want to go into this industry. Ayan. Um, now we talked about yung mga competencies nga, yung mga skill sets nila and what they usually do, what the tasks na kailangan nilang i-expect. Besides those, no, is it okay for L&D to take on other responsibilities at work other than just L&D?
Wow, okay. Well, from my experience and from siguro hindi siya perspective na nag-manage. Siguro because I was also before an L&D officer also na may boss, no.
Uh-huh.
I think yes, and yung yes na yon nanggagaling because it made me love more the profession. Bakit? Kasi um, having other responsibilities other than being an L&D person gave me a breather. Kumbaga, breather. And yung definition ko ng breather is branching out in two ways. One, um, may mga slow days talaga pag L&D. Meaning, hindi naman araw-araw busy ka. Good kung ganun ha. Pero hindi araw-araw busy ka. So, kapag hindi ka ganun ka busy or yung mga slow days na sinasabi, having projects help you stay sharp, helps you like maintain your interest in the field, whether sa
Mhm.
company or sa HR. And breather mo rin siya kasi minsan may mga long rollouts na tinatawag tayo. I'm not sure if you experience this, no, but minsan kunyari required i-orient mo lahat ng employees, 5,000 yun. So tatakbo yun ng mga 3 4 months to finish. And kung yun lang yung ginagawa mo, mabu-burnout ka talaga. Hindi
Ah.
ko alam sir kung nangyari na sa'yo 'to, yung 'pag ibabato mo pa lang yung joke, iniisip mo, "Hindi ko pa ba 'to nabitawan?" Kasi yun
Yeah,
yung
yeah.
everyday, 'di ba? Ginagawa mo siya everyday. So,
Yeah, yeah.
having extra projects will give you that necessary break para to keep you sane and interested in the things that you do. Another having other projects, i-relate ko lang siya dun sa uh, discussion natin kanina. It will help you know the organization and the people more. Kasi you get to experience them on other circumstances. Hindi yung minsan kasi ang mahirap din kapag nasa training and development ka, everyone else is so formal sa'yo. Yung 'pag nakikita ka, "Ay, ayusin natin kasi may say yan sa performance appraisal." 'Di ba? Or magko-comment
Oo.
magko-comment yan sa next promotion opportunity ko. So, iba 'pag na-experience mo sila sa say for example, ikaw ang nag-lead ng sports fest niyo. Kunyari lang, I mean, yun lang naisip kong, activity. Then you get to see the people on other circumstances. It's also possible na say this leader, nakikita mo siya na very stern, pero nung naglaro ng basketball nakita mo pala, ano pala siya, nagbababa pala at nagiging one of the boys kumbaga or one of the group kapag naging team na yung dynamics. Where kapag sa loob ng training room, very authoritative, di ba? So it will give you that necessary perspective in understanding your clients more. So yes, ako doon na yes, I'm not sure if kung nanonood man dito yung team ko, kung matutuwa sila doon. Ito yung reason kung bakit may mga other projects tayo, not only doing yung
Ayun.
LND.
Oo. It's also a great way to break the habit ika nga na for those who are not familiar actually, in L&D, there are things such as programs or training programs na uulit-ulitin mo or if not, matagal mo siyang gagawin. You have to do it for a long period of time. And just like anything that we do, yes, even though we have the passion for it, kung lagi naman siya nangyayari or worse, if ulit-ulit siyang nangyayari, then you'll be burned out. So I think yeah, it's also okay for L&D to take other responsibilities given na walang mapapabayaan. Yun. Siguro let's put that out as well, no? I think it's okay, no, yung mga paliit-liit as long as it doesn't affect your core responsibilities of why you are in the company in the first place, ika nga. All right, that's actually a good way to look into it nga naman, no? Well, we've talked about the individuals, now yun, the skills, who they are, what they do, and who can work, who can become L&D. Now let's talk about the team itself. Now, L&D had some bad connotations as well dati, or I think until now, no, na for especially for those who don't understand what is the purpose of an L&D department. Now, what's your comment? Yeah, medyo personalan to. What's your comment on some people saying that L&D is siguro hindi naman sa aksaya ng pera, but rather it's expense generating group. Ayan, sa isang company.
Mic drop na. Hindi, biro lang.
Mic drop.
Hindi, biro lang. Yes, I agree no na hindi nawawala 'to. I mean,
Mhm,
regardless of how progressive some organizations have already been, even yung organization na kinabibilangan ko ngayon, every now and then I'm also asked like to revisit the budget, only to ensure na I'm aligned and at the same time to align to the climate ng business, no? But I would say siguro sasagutin ko 'to in two ways. One, anchoring dun sa sagot ko kanina, I think it's our responsibility to really prove otherwise, to sell it to management why the investment is necessary. Um, for some groups, I've seen also some colleagues in the field na they're really able to convert and compute for
mhm,
return of investments for every learning programs that they implement. So yun, ano yun, yun ang pinaka-ultimate goal for you to be able to justify why the expense is necessary and what
mhm,
it can bring to the organization. Now, yung second naman na aspect is there's this mentor na nagturo sa akin before na one of the key communication that you can tell management is, yes, training would require the company to spend, but it will be costlier to face mistakes, chargebacks from clients, people accidents, if you
mhm.
will not do the training. So, babalik na naman din siya dun sa na-sell mo ba siya properly. But I also want to wear my other business hat and say na learning and development really needs investment din. Meaning hindi rin naman puwedeng lahat free. Although
Mhm.
lately 'no, sa pandemic naging creative tayo, ang dami ng mga libre na puwedeng gawin ng training ng walang gastos. Pero hindi puwedeng lahat wala. Hihingi
Oo.
yung mga tao ng kape, eh. Sabi ko nga, "Online session na, may tanong pa rin, wala po bang pakape?" Parang gano'n, parang hala, pero you understand 'di ba? Meaning ikaw as a
Yeah,
trainer,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know why they're asking or minsan nagpapa-game kami online 'to, Zoom 'di ba? Online tapos, "Sir may price ba?" Sige po, magpapadala po kami diyan. So, may gano'n, eh. So there's really still investment and
Mhm.
we talked about tools. So, yes, expense generating, but I think it's our responsibility lang siguro to lay out to management what this expense would result to that would be beneficial sa organization in general. May not be automatic, but a concrete timeline would speak the language of finance, would speak the language of the businessmen that are our bosses, na would make them realize why it's worth it.
Ayun, yeah. Uh, sa mga viewers po namin, we're not starting something here na ano
Wala pang
na
movement.
hindi po kami nag-start na movement, but rather for the newcomers in the industry and also sa mga matagal na rin, no, it's a reminder that uh, it's one of the things na nandyan, whether we like it or not. Kailangan talaga nating improve why we need the budget, why we need the proposals approved, why we need to talk to the management. Kasi in their eyes, they're also looking for things such as, yun nga, yung finances, is it in line pa, within budget pa rin ba, is it needed? So, I think to avoid no having a bad rep, let's focus also in making sure that we are understood and what we want to happen and what the goals are. Para at least 'di ba na okay, ganyan naman pala yung kailangan, ito naman pala yung kadadatnan. Kasi baka naman hingi ka lang na hingi ng budget. I
Mm.
hope not na. Oh, may training kami, kailangan namin to. Bam. I hope wala namang ganun. So I think
Alignment.
good, oh, 'di ba? I think good communication, a good presentation of why you need to do this is will alleviate no this stigma that we have in terms of approvals or the image na magastos ang industry natin.
Yes. Nothing
Ayan.
comes free, but we can be creative
Oh,
Parang
yun.
gano'n.
Let's put it that way as well. Oo nga. Well, post tayo ng konti sa mga questions. Let's go to our comment section for a few minutes. We have here AJ De La Fuente, proud batchmate here. Ayan. Thank you so much for watching, AJ. And also we have Shirley Yu. Hi, Kevin and Von. Hello po. Good afternoon. Proud CLDP batch 10 here. Ayan. So mga kabatch, sa mga ano po, baka nagtataka, ay, gumraduate ba sila sa ano? They are a part of batch 10 ng CLDP Philippines. Ayan. So sa mga interested po kung ano yung CLDP, you can go to our website or to our Facebook page, CLDP Philippines. Open pa po ang batch 11. Meron pa po tayong slot. So discount rates are also available. So, ayan, check nyo po yun. Maybe it's a good way for you also to have parang ticket into the L&D industry. Ayan. We also have here C. St. Clair, and I would argue, ito, that we don't necessarily need to justify everything we do. We train and develop people because it is the right thing to do. Not because of expecting an X return. Oo. Actually, yeah, that is a good way to look into it also. Kasi nga, kaya nga may L&D kasi meron na tayong purpose.
Yeah.
Oo. Pero ayun, siguro just to avoid any stigma between the management and the team or the L&D department. Siguro good neutral communications is what's needed. Ayan. Well, moving forward naman, well, inuna ko na kasi yung negative na inuna ko na yung negative na connotations with the team. Pero moving forward, ano naman yung mga common myths about L&D? And
Ah,
what is your take experience on these? Siguro both positive and negative myths na lang.
mm.
Let's go there.
Unahin ko muna yung ano, hindi ko alam kung matatawa kayo, pero bakit ba na ang perception na all L&D people are event host? Di ba? Bakit po gano'n? Natawa ka, di ba? So,
Actually,
most of the
meron ako, sorry, isingit ko lang din. Meron ako sumpa dyan. When I became a teacher and nalaman nila na siguro dahil sa skill set, no? Laging ako yung nagiging host. Oh, meron
yes.
tayong event, ikaw yung mag-host. And then nung napunta ako sa industry na to, nadala ko pa rin siya hanggang ngayon. So yeah,
So,
yeah.
so yan ngayon.
Oo, yun.
So yeah, it's a myth. But why did I bring it up? Not because we don't want to be hosts. I think what I'm just trying to say is, there are really actually people who can host events,
Mhm.
and when you see the things that these people or these talents can do, iba talaga siya. Meaning it's a competency different altogether. So well, it's good that majority of the training people that I know are able to carry it. Nagagawa naman, nararaos yung event, naka-clap-clap pa nga eh. But I just want to start it with that kasi matatawa lahat ng nasa training, sigurado ako doon eh. Kasi sila yung laging nakatayo lang, naghihintay ng programs, bilang hihilahin, ikaw na lang mag-host pala. And you're expected to really do well on the spot.
Yeah,
So,
yun pa yung mahirap eh, di ba?
hindi po automatic, pero salamat po sa tiwala. I think that's what I want to tell naman.
I think it
No,
has something to do with the general impression na dahil nagtuturo ka, magaling ka magsalita.
yes.
Pero
Yes.
teaching is different from
Hosting, iba.
eventing, hosting an event. Iba yung skill set na kailangan. So yeah, I think dun lang nagkakaroon ng connotation na, marunong magturo to, so marunong mag-host to. Ayan. Ayan. What else? What
Second,
else? Mhm.
yeah, second do sa list ko is this is also parang my way also of helping yung practitioners din, no. Yung connotation na L&D team cannot be a one-man team. So, sometimes po talaga, an organization would not have much resources and would only afford one L&D person to do. Pero even if mag-isa ka, you can make a difference in the organization with proper support, and I think with proper anchor to where your organization want to lead itself, or say wag na natin siyang gawing Miss Universe, even say just the plan for employees for 2022 would be enough an anchor for you to be able to come up with programs. But being a solo learning and development doesn't mean naman na ikaw lahat din ang gagawa. Like we mentioned earlier sa discussion, you can multiply yourself.
Mhm.
Get SMEs, get experts, get people who have been matagal na sa organization. These people can help you come up with programs that can be equally effective as if meron kang buong team. Where in fact, ikaw
Mhm.
lang yung lead, nagda-direct ka lang ng mga tao. So, huwag kayong mawalan ng loob kahit solo kayo sa L&D.
Ayun, oo nga. Tama, tama. Medyo mahirap, but it is doable. You can survive it. And practice lang and research, ika nga. You can go. Oh, another myth? Do you have another one?
I have one last.
Sige, sige.
An effective L&D should be psych or eduk graduates.
Ah.
Yes.
Actually, I think we talked about that with Mr. Jeff. No, when we when we talked about what is L&D and sino ba yung pwede pumasok. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think we've broken it, pero yes, let's reiterate that myth.
They can be advantageous. I mean, they have their own pluses. Understanding human behavior, being able to have the sensitivity. The eduk part, ay Diyos ko, saludong-saludo ako doon kasi you're really built for it. But hindi po. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're not from these fields that you cannot join. Masyado pong malawak yung field ng learning and development. And we need all the experts out there kasi ang kailangan po for L&D, important is credibility. So who best
Mhm.
to talk about topics than those who are expert in those fields po. So, yun.
Ayun. Oo nga naman.
Well,
Well,
welcome.
I think, yeah, ako, naramdam ko yung advantage kasi I graduated with a bachelor secondary education. But yeah, it doesn't have to be na kailangan edo ka or psych graduate ka. There are other skill sets na pwedeng makuha sa iba and not necessarily na nakukuha lang sa isang course or sa isang specific course, di ba? All right. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing those myths. No? Ako, natawa talaga ako doon sa una. Kasi medyo medyo tagos sa akin. But moving on to our last question for today. What challenges did L&D teams face during this pandemic?
Yun. Well, yes, unfortunately, the pandemic really limited what L&D can do because this is something that no one, I believe, prepared for industry-wise. Ang pinakamatinding kalaban natin dito was the social distancing. It really prevented us from doing the face-to-face. Iba pa din. I'm not sure if I'm just a conservative, but iba pa din talaga yung may face-to-face interaction, but we cannot do something about that. So, yun yung pinakamalaking impact. It changed the landscape of how we do training, how we interface with our learners. Um, Obvious naman yung sa budget, I believe, no? Marami sa atin ang natapyasan ng budget primarily because we need to divert these budgets to COVID-related services to our people. But I am happy to share also to everyone that uh, dito papasok yung creativity. I'm very happy with my group now because nakapag-come up kami ng online learning platform na free na wala kaming binibili but we really needed to just be patient and work with our IT group. So, meron na kami ngayon online learning session for our office personnel. And while it's very rudimentary pa, but it's a working program that we're very proud of. Kasi limited sa budget. Actually, may budget naman, pero we rather use that doon sa talagang walang choice. Kung hindi, you need to engage outside, eh, so you need to pay. So what we did was to really sit down and discuss alin yung mga pwede naman nating gawin na libre. Maraming salamat sa mga maraming salamat sa Globe at Smart. Hindi po ako nagpa-plug pero kasi nahanapan natin ng paraan na you can still communicate, very important. Sa case namin, yung 7 habits of highly effective people by sending quotes to our people on a daily basis. I mean, this is learning and development on an entirely different approach. Yung mental health program namin is being pushed via using of Skype. Kanina bago yung session natin, katatapos lang ng focus group discussion namin with expats. Ang topic is mental health ng mga expatriates kasi syempre iba rin yung pressure nila. So, libre din yun kasi MS Teams lang ang gamit namin. So, I think what I'm trying to say is nahirapan talaga tayo with the pandemic, but if you're really serious in coming up with solutions or programs for your people, pwede. Hindi ko pa rin naman binababa yung ano ha, yung iba pa din pag face to face. Iba pa din talaga. Even the way we're handling the mental health now, I really wish it could have been done face to face. Pero I mean, what can you do, 'di ba? But you can be creative. And I'm just happy that yung clients ngayon, yung mga younger employees, I talked about expats, nakakapagbigay naman sila ng magandang feedback na ang term na ginagamit nila is thank you for trying. Yun yung maganda sa damdamin eh, yung na-acknowledge nila na you're trying your best to find workarounds despite of the limitations ng pandemic. Hopefully mag-improve na tayo in the next coming days. Um, and maybe magkaroon pa ng mga ibang technologies that can help also.
Yeah, I agree with those. Not just hindi lang naman siguro L&D ang naka-experience, but a lot of other industries as well. But yeah, I think no, diskarte and just don't give up. Just don't lose hope. Lilipas din. Hopefully, ngayon na. Pero yeah, lilipas din. And all we have to do is, face the storm and use whatever tools we can, get whatever help we can from others. And I think makakaya natin to lahat. And wow. So thank you so much, Sir Vaughn, for sharing your insights sa mga topics natin or sa mga questions natin regarding the ins and outs of managing an L&D team. And before we end, meron po ba kayong gustong pasalamatan or to promote on your end?
Yeah, thank you very much for sa CLDP Philippines, no. Primarily, sabi nga kanina, batch 10, fresh graduate from the group.
Yeah.
Si shameless plug, ako na magpa-plug na please do explore also kung kayo po ay interesado sa field ng learning and development. Please do try and enroll the certification program. Tapos for those who are watching who are in the community of Clark Freeport Zone, I would like
Mhm.
to invite you po sa Clark HR Council. We're recruiting HR practitioners po to join our growing family of HR professionals. Tulungan po tayo. Masaya po yung family. I've been with the group since the time that I was here in Clark. And
Wow.
I would say it's a very good support group po to help those who are in the field of human resource. Kahit po bagong-bago pa lang kayo sa HR or matagal na welcome po kayo sa group namin.
Ayun. Wow. Yeah, Clark HR Council, thank you so much din po. Kasi ako ay bagong member ng CHRC. Ayan. So, looking forward with working as well with other HR professionals locally here in our province. But yeah, thank you so much again, Sir Vaughn. And hopefully, no, mag-improve na yung situation natin. And I'm wishing you the best of luck with your team. And hopefully, no, you can achieve more despite the challenges that we have during this pandemic. And so thank you so much, sir, and see you next time. Hopefully, we can still invite you for another episode here at the Trainers Lounge.
Anytime. Thank you. Thank you. Keep
Ayan,
safe.
thank you so much po. Keep safe po. And that was Mr. Von Angeli David. Ayun, ang dami ko natutunan sa kanya. It was an eye opener, no, of the ins and outs ika nga, of an L&D team. And I think no sa mga gusto sumali ano ba, sorry. Sa mga gusto sumali and be a part of this wonderful industry, hopefully na-catch ninyo yung mga tips and hopefully you were able to understand better what it means to be in an L&D team. And this is all for this week, and hopefully, we can still catch you next time here in the show where we talk about anything and everything about L&D. This is Trainers Lounge, presented by Circologica Group and CLDP Philippines. My name is Kevin. See you next week.